to talk about how to set up the NoxBox from the very beginning. So we've just wiped it down. We've made sure that we still had nitric in our tanks. And so if you did have a tank that was empty, this would be a great time to change it out. This is our water trap, so it's been cleaned and it was in the dryer. And so we're going to attach that here. And then in our Nox kit, we have this little filter, and we're going to place the filter here so it clicks into place. Okay, there we go. We clicked it into place, and then we're going to attach that. So you definitely want this on here prior to proceeding. So the next part is attaching your NoxFlow kit. And so this comes in your kit. So you either have a neonatal, which is the 2-12, or the adult, which is the 2-22. This one, it goes green up. So it just plugs in right here. And it will click into place, and then this piece attaches here. And just be aware when you are taking this off of the patient, there's a little button underneath there that you just kind of press, and then you pull down to take this out. So if you just pull this, these do come off, but that will stay in there. So just make sure that you press that and then go pull down like this. So it clicks into place, and I'm just going to push those little tubings in to make sure they're nice and secure. The next thing is we're going to put our test circuit on the NoxBox to test it. So we have this white corrugated tubing. Think of this like your inspiratory limb, so we're pointing our arrow toward the patient. And then the test kit also comes with this adapter, which goes here, and this piece of tubing, which is going to connect to our oxygen source, the Nox mixer on this side. Finally, we're going to attach the sample line. So we plug this in here. And then in the kit, it also comes with this little adapter. That one plugs in right there. It just snaps into place. And finally, there's a piece of clear tubing, and it's going to attach from our sample line here, and then it attaches over here by the water trap. So the next step is turning the machine on so that we can test it. So there's a green button in the back. We're going to turn that on, and we'll give it a moment to warm up. Alright, so right now we've turned it on, and it goes straight to the sensor 0 test. So it's going to perform this test every time you turn the machine on. And like it says here, it may take up to 2 minutes. So this is what you're going to do prior to taking it to the patient. Some indications for nitric oxide while we are waiting for this test to be completed would be for the patient that has pulmonary hypertension. So that's the primary indication for its use. The standard starting dose is 20 parts per million. One thing to keep in mind is you don't want to abruptly withdraw the nitric oxide from the patient, so you want to make sure that you have the Nox mixer set up with your ambu bag, or in the case of the neonate, your T-piece resuscitator, because you want to make sure that if you need to bag in an emergent situation, that you can provide nitric. If you abruptly withdraw, especially when they're at a higher dose, they have a risk of developing rebound pulmonary hypertension, and so we want to make sure and avoid that. So if we are running our bag from the Knox mixer. We're going to see where we're set for our parts per million here. So for the neonate, we're setting our bag or our T-piece resuscitator at 10 liters per minute. For the adult, we set it at 15 liters per minute. And then you can see here the different parts per million. And then we're going to dial this dial appropriately based on how many parts per million the patient is on. So for example, if your neonate is on 20 parts per million, this dial needs to be at 300 and the flow here at 10 in order to provide 20 parts per million from this outlet. So we see here the next thing we're going to do is we're going to skip to system tests, and these are the tests that you have to complete prior to placing it on a patient. So I just want you to open the valve on the nitric cylinder. So we're going to reach back to number 1 tank. And so here we see this is tank number 1 on the left, tank number 2 on the right. We're going to set our flow here to 10 liters per minute. So we've plugged our NoxBox into the oxygen on the wall, and you will need that in order to run the tests. So now this particular test takes up to 5 minutes, so we'll be right back when that's complete.